Hello and welcome to a City Voices group. It's called Peer Workers United for peer specialists and people who are interested in peer support work. And we have a special guest today, LaShonda Woods from Indiana, right?
Yes,
And the name of the organization is Hope of Bryan's Bridge.
correct.
That's
Yes.
what LaShonda's with. She's a peer specialist and a family peer support worker. And without further ado, take it away, LaShonda.
Oh, thank you. Oh my goodness. Happy Monday to everybody that's here. Um, this is really truly a blessing and a treat to be here. My nerves have been on fire all week for the last 2 weeks leading up to today. But just to give you a little bit of I guess a backstory, how I got into peer specialists and family support. Facilitator, so to speak. So how I got to Indiana is a very small story. Well, long story. My mother's originally from Brooklyn, New York. That's where I was raised. My father's from Chicago. My mother sent me to Chicago when I was 15, 14 or 15. Her job in turn moved to Chicago. So she relocated here. So she decided not to go back to New York. She said that it was slower here. It was better opportunity for me and my sister and my four brothers, because it was a total of six of us. Went to high school, went on to college, but prior to that, and I'm kind of like going back and forth. My family deals with a lot of mental illness. My mother suffers now. My grandmother suffered, but at that time I was too young to really understand what that was. So I knew I want to say about 13 years old. I knew I wanted to be a civil servant. I would go and get the kids out of the neighborhood, um, take them for ice cream, take them, with my little allowance and buy them clothes. I would even ask the parents if I can give them a bath or, just whatever I can do to help. So fast forward, once I finished school, I went into case management. So I was doing case management. I was very young, still in school. And my first job, I guess my first roster where I was placed was on the south side of Chicago. And I was real naive, about 20 years old. I had a caseload of 60 people. I took the caseload that nobody else would take, but I found joy in it. And I would go into these poverty-stricken areas, right? And I would be familiar. The people would become familiar with me, right? And my mother would say, "You shouldn't go over there. That's not safe," right? So I would go into this one particular area, and the people would have gotten used to seeing me, right? So they would call me Miss Lady. And I would look around like, who's Miss Lady? And the one guy who's sitting outside, and he said, "You." And he said, "We're going to make sure you get to your car safe. And we're going to make sure you get to the apartment," because I was doing case management. And I took the cases that nobody else wanted. And right then and there, I knew that I wanted to be for the people that were forgotten. So tragedy hit in 1999, where my twin brothers, I think I shared it with you, Dan, was tragically killed by his twin brother. That's what made me go full force into peer specialists. And it's even after all these years, it's still emotional to talk about. But I used my tragedy into triumph. And what was already there in terms of family history, psychosis, manic depression, anxiety, psychoaffective, and it trickled down to my mother. So when my mother lost my brother, it just amplified. So I became that person. I became that person that took care of everybody. And even now, when my mother's in crisis, um, I'm the go-to to make sure that she gets to the hospital, that if it's a 72-hour hold that she may need, um, I have became that person. So when I came into peer specialist through the National Alliance of Mental Illness, which is NAMI, I met a lady, and she was very fond of me. And she started to begin to ask me to facilitate. And I said, no, I just rather volunteer. I just rather be for the people. I don't want to facilitate. And every week, every Wednesday for the past 3 years, I would just volunteer. I would just go, I would just help. Um, I would just basically meet the people where they were. So she asked me one day, she said, LaShonda, do you have a few minutes? And I said, yeah. She said, after session, I'd like to speak to you. And I said, okay, no problem. Her name was Lori. She said, I'm tired and I want to retire from this. Will you take this on? And I said, I don't know. I don't know if I can do that, because if I took this responsibility on, I wasn't sure that I would be who I needed to be to everybody else that needed peer support. So eventually I still continue to volunteer. I continue to engage. I continue to participate on every level that I could. And then I even traveled a lot to gain more knowledge, um, meet people, see where I can be of any assistance of help. So um, in 2013, that is when I formed Hope of Brian's Bridge in the name of my brother that was tragically killed. And when I took that project on, it was primarily for children, so I thought. And I said, well, if I start to mentor or kind of like work with the kids and educate them on mental illness, that I can get them while they're young. So another lady came up to me and she said, LaShonda, I have a case. Nobody wants it. Will you take it? So I said, let me think about it. I don't want to say yes and I don't want to say no. I want to be realistic. I'm not going to take on anything that I'm not going to be productive on, or it's just not realistic. So I came back to her and I said, yes, I will take it. And when I took on this case, she actually was one of those other people that motivated me to say that this is not just something that you do because you have downtime, but it was actually, it was a call, it was a call for people that were left behind, people that were hurting, people that needed support. And I made it into a lifestyle, an everyday lifestyle, even now. So what I do now, in addition to peer support specialists, I facilitate classes with parents. They're all suffering from a mental illness. And I come in and sit with them. We come up with a realistic plan. My plan doesn't look like their plan. I meet them where they are. And I must say that it's such a rewarding position. It's such a rewarding thing to do. So fast forward, I recently got engaged and we were doing marital counseling. And we were in session and I thought everything was going good. So I thought, and the therapist says to me, oh, Honda, tell me a little bit about your background. Tell me a little bit about yourself. And we're just getting to know each other and stuff like that. And are we still on?
Yes, I just spotlighted you.
Oh, okay. Thank
Do you
you.
want to see the gallery view?
No,
Is
it's
that
fine. Whichever way is fine. Yeah, whichever
our
way is
part?
fine.
Okay.
And I don't know if you ever heard of the saying, who takes care of the caretaker, right? And I thought I had everything pretty much in the bag. I thought I had everything under my belt. I'm pretty much a routine person. I'm a person that sticks to schedule. I'm a person that pretty much keeps everything together because I am a mother too. I have 6 children, 4 adult children, and 2 minor children that I'm still responsible for. So having routine was very important to me. Keeping schedule. So, and I know I'm jumping around, but it all leads up. So, and it all coincides with having things, what you think, together. In layman's terms, you think you got it all together. So I'm in counseling, and then the therapist says to me, "LaShawn, are you okay?" And I said, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not." And it was stemmed from the series of questions that she asked. And she said, "I would advise you to go and see your primary care physician because I think it's a little bit more there." And when I found out that I suffer from anxiety and I suffer from trauma, it was very hard because we live in a society where we have to keep it together. And I just didn't know, how did I, of all people, leave myself under the rug. So moving forward, I took out time to examine myself. And examining myself, I found out a lot about myself. And these tears are tears of joy because I came to terms with myself that it's okay not to be okay. It's okay not to have it all together. It's okay to wake up one morning and just say, you know what, today's not my day. And what I did from that was I prioritized LaShonda a little bit more. And by me prioritizing LaShonda a little bit more, it allowed me to be more accessible in my office that I walk in of peer support specialist or family support specialist. It's just all those things because I never was caught up on titles. And it allowed me to say, well, you know, that it's okay. It's okay not to be okay. And it allowed me to not only examine myself, but be more, I guess, more relatable to the people that I was supporting. So what looks like may be good for me may not be good for the next person. And we live in a time where, oh, okay, well, you got to have it all together. Everything has a place, but not necessarily so. Everything has a time, but maybe my shoes don't go on the shoe rack. Maybe somebody else's shoes go in the corner. So, all those things and tying it into where I am now, and when you peel those layers back from childhood to tragedy to trauma, and to be where I am now, and I like to use I statements that this has really, really helped me personally, and really for so many other people that has been helpful and conducive on. So that's who I am. You know, I don't have a whole lot. I could be long-winded, but I don't have a whole lot. But that is what got me here. That's what that has gotten me here, and what's keeping me here is my support and the love for people and not mishandling people and making sure that while here on the earth that I do all that I can to help other people.